Hello, 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 and welcome back to part 2 in solving the GED math test question. Which option below expresses the expression in terms of P? And so in part 1, I showed you step by step how to go through and answer that particular type of problem. And here in this part 2 video, I'd like to show you a couple of alternative ways alternative steps you could have taken in order to solve the problem, and you end up with the exact same solution. Okay, and at the conclusion of this particular video, I'm going to show you exactly how you could, what you should type in into an internet search in order to find worksheets with answers that allow you to practice your new skills. All right, so here's an alternative way that you could have solved this particular problem. So we had x divided by y raised to a power of 2. Now this is x to the invisible 1 power. This is y to the invisible 1 exponent power, right? And typically that 1 is not shown. That's why I'm doing a ... 1. Now check out my videos on invisible ones. They will help you in understanding where these invisible ones lie, and it will clarify a lot of things that are confusing in mathematics. So what we can do is we can use what's the power to the power rule, where you multiply the exponential power times the power of 2 that's raised, right? Power of 1 raised to a power of power 2. Okay, so you multiply each of these values by 2. Invisible 1 times 2 and an invisible 1 times 2 with both of these variables x and y, which is going to look like this right here. So 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 2 is 2. Now you can substitute the values of p for x and y, right? So remember, x is equal to p to the 5th power, right? So you substitute p to the 5th power for x. Remember, that's raised to the 2nd power, right? So that x is equal to p to the 5th power, and that's raised to the power of 2. Same thing for y. Y is equal to p to the negative exponential power of 2. Then it'll also be raised to that power of 2 here. So again, this is an alternative way you could have solved this particular type of problem. Again, my goal is to show you ways to solve and answer these particular problems. It's up to you to determine what's the easiest method for you, right? So that's in your hands. My hands are trying to explain the easiest way to get her done. So now we have substituted the values for x and y in terms of p, right? That was the test question. Now you're going to take this power of 5 and raise it, which is raised to the power of 2, and you use the rule power to a power, right? Power to a power. So 5 times 2 is 10. Negative 2 times a positive 2 is negative 4. And that's what I'm showing you here, right? Using the power to the power rule, 5 times 2, 5 times 2, negative 2 times 2, negative 2 times 2 here. 5 times 2 is 10. Negative 2 times a positive 2 is p to the negative 4 value. Now we have the quotient rule. We have a quotient rule, and the quotient rule says when the bases are the same, it stays the same, and when anytime you divide with exponents, you can subtract. So that's what we're going to do here. We have p to the 10 power minus, because we're dividing, we're subtracting, the negative 4. Negative, that's an invisible negative 1 times a negative 4. Negative 1 times a negative 4 is a positive 4. 10 plus 4 is p to the 14. So just showing you there. And so again, there is many ways to solve problems in mathematics. Unfortunately, many instructors just want to teach their one way, the only way. Nope. There are multiple ways. So that's the first way. If I'm going too fast, please stop, pause, and rewind. So here's another alternative method you could have used, another alternative way, and that starts here at this particular step. When you end up with p to the 10th and p to the negative 4th, you could have done something similar to what I'm going to show you now. So you need to understand this is p to the 10th power over the invisible 1 times p to the negative 4th power in the denominator, and there's an invisible 1 above that p to the negative 4. Okay, so if you were to put these both into fraction form, you got p to the 10th over 1 times 1 over p to the negative 4. Okay, so anytime you have a negative exponential power, you can flip that fraction and it will turn that negative into a positive exponent. So that's what I'm going to show you here. You flip it. Put that p to the negative 4th on top, 1 goes on the bottom. Magically, the p to the 4th becomes a positive exponential power. Now you can follow the product rule, follow the product exponential product rule, which means when you multiply and the base is the same, the base stays the same in your answers, but you add, when you multiply, you add the exponents. So 10 plus 4 is p to the 14. Okay, again, these are just alternative ways you could have used to solve this particular problem. If you find that part 1 video is maybe the easiest way for you to solve these problems, then go ahead, by all means do so, step by step, whatever is easiest for you. But a little shaking going on here today, but you need to just determine what is best for you. My job is to show you how to get her done, and so hopefully that helped out a little bit. So now I'd like to show you what you can copy and paste into an internet search in order to find worksheets to practice these new skills. So when conducting internet search to practice, you would type in worksheets with answers for substitution. You want to practice substitution property. That's what this problem started with. We substituted the values for x and y. Okay, so that's a skill you want to practice if you're not familiar with that particular skill. Another strategy you can use is you can type in worksheets with answers for practicing a quotient rule and product rule and the power to power rule using exponents. So this will help you find worksheets with answers. Why is it important you have answers? Well, it's important you have the answers. And again, if I'm going too fast, please stop, pause, rewind this video. It's important that you have answers so you know whether you're doing the problems right or wrong. And if you're doing a problem wrong, check where you made the mistake, right? Check where you make those mistakes. And that will make you a better, stronger, working with your math skills. It'll make you better and stronger. So another search title you could use: worksheets with answers on simplifying negative exponents. That will help you understand the quotient rule of negative exponents, or just understanding what to do with negative exponents. You can also watch my videos on invisible ones. All the exponential rules we talked about: the quotient rule, power to power rule, the product rule, and the negative exponent rule. I've also included fractional exponents. What does that mean in some of my videos? So please check out those videos. They'll be helpful for you. Remember, math is easy. Take it step by step. Thank you for joining me. If I've helped you, please help me to continue to help others. Please like, follow, share these videos. My goal is to get to 10,000 plus subscribers, followers, and reach 100,000 views. And so help me to help others. Thank you for your time, your stars, your gifts, your tips. Math is easy. Take it step by step.